So the first thing I like to mention is that my mother and father wanted me to say hello for them because they couldn't be here, and they're big fans of you.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, but I'm the socialist they raised, so I would like to ask you a question in opposition. I was like,
So what do you say?
I'm the socialist they raised, so I'm saying I'm asking a question in opposition.
Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank you. I said, how can we have relativized a love for America when we have a long history of being anti-democratic overseas, being involved in coups in Chile, Guatemala, that have been supported by both democratic and Republican institutions?
Hold on. I am, just to be clear. Yeah.
You want me to repeat it? Thank you. I could tell you're a little nervous, so I'm gonna restate the question.
But thank you for being here.
I'm glad you're here.
Did he say, how can we?
He said, how can we maintain love for America because of our anti-democratic foreign policy, in particular supporting coups in Chile, Latin America, around the world? Did I summarize that pretty well?
Yeah.
That's
I think this kind of ties back into the last answer that we just gave, because that does not represent America. That represents crooked politicians that are in D.C. that has us in endless wars, staging coups, the color revolution that we staged in Ukraine, which is absolutely what happened. We staged a color revolution in Ukraine to insert Zelensky because politicians are corrupt in D.C. And it is very difficult for people to differentiate, what we're talking about here. Something has gone terribly wrong in America. That is a fact. This is not the America that your grandparents grew up in. That is a fact. Something happened with these globalist initiatives, them recognizing sometime after 9/11 that they can keep us in endless wars and keep sending trillions of dollars, sending our sons and daughters to go overseas. And let me be very clear, when I criticize this, we are not at all criticizing the people that went overseas and believed in our country and believed in our values and never could have fathomed that our government could be this crooked, this awful, this backwards, and doing this all for profit. But that is a circumstance. We didn't pull out of Afghanistan because Biden cares about your sons and daughters. We pulled out of Afghanistan, in my personal opinion, because they have an incredible resource. What's the one for in batteries? Not uranium. Lithium, yeah, and
they need for
and they're going to mine it, and this is why they're pushing all of this ESG agenda. It is so much more Machiavellian, like I said, and I don't find your sentiment, what you're talking about, to be socialist at all. By the way, the question that you asked, at least, it's a major problem, and the only way that we're going to fix it is to disempower people in DC, and that is something that people on the left and the right should be agreeing and coming together on.
So can I just ask you a quick question? So you're a socialist that is worried about some government activity. Do you trust the government?
Not at all, no.
Then why are you a socialist?
Well, because I understand socialism not as that. I don't understand socialism as being pro. I distrust hierarchies, right? And I think that a socialist, what they want is that they want more democracy. You want the people to be the ones in power. You want now they do say the dictatorship of
guys be nice, because he really he's trying to understand it. What I would very much say that you should study what socialism actually. I know what it's sold as. I know what they bill it as, right? I know what the bill says it's going to be amazing. People are going to have power. You got to check in with the Venezuelans, maybe as a starting point. Check in with the Cubans who believed in Fidel Castro. Check in over the last 100 years how many people have died because they sold them a narrative. And what really happened was the government then seized all the power from the people, promised they would redistribute it, but it isn't what happened. The average Venezuelan citizen has lost something like 23 pounds. It kills every single time. So you're probably someone that has a really big heart, and you actually believe that the government has too much power, and so you believe it when people like AOC say, we're going to fight and we're going to return power to the people. That's not what they're going to do. What she's doing is she's fighting for government to grow until it becomes so insurmountable that you are rendered powerless and the individual is rendered powerless. That's what socialism actually is, not what it's billed as. But thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.